Hi, this poem is called Closure Doesn't Exist, and it is a part 2 out of one of my first YouTube videos that I posted, named I Wish I Could Speak Italian, but I can't. So this is kind of like a part 2 to it. I've gotten used to the weight of this grief, of how it holds me down like an anchor in this darkness. I've known this kind of grief all of my life. Grief has always been a part of me, but you were different, and this grief was different, and I don't know if it's harder or easier. My roof feels like it's caving in on me, my empty being darkness, my only friend to cradle me in this empty bed. I heard your voice, your soothing voice that always brought my soul comfort, and I never thought I would again, but I did, for one last time. But it didn't soothe me because I was trying so hard the whole time to hold in my tears, to pretend that I was strong and that this was enough, trying to remember the subtle, beautiful sound of your voice, and try not to love you still, so when you hung up the phone I wouldn't feel like a victim still. But I loved you even more in that moment, and I couldn't help it. After you told me arrivederci authentically, you said I wish you all of the best, and I recognized that familiar feeling of grief aching throughout my entire being, and my heart was protesting, willfully screaming, no, please just hold on, don't hang up, please don't go again. But you didn't have a clue. It was only my mind and body that knew. You seemed distant, your voice just wasn't as passionate anymore. I guess maybe because you had let go and stopped fighting for me. My fantasy was hopeless from the beginning, and you had to say goodbye. But I still couldn't stop dreaming, even though I knew I was just trying to find something again of what I wanted, being born in you by force, through a foggy perception of what our relationship even was. My heart was pounding so hard I knew that this was it. To thank you and find some closure in the short time we had, and maybe after I thought I would no longer be so destroyed that every time I felt the pain, every time I remembered your face and the sound of your voice, I wouldn't taste blood and tears wouldn't fall from my green eyes. That the memories of us would vanish from my soul so I could find some peace. I hung on tight but needed and wanted to let go at the same time, and I didn't know how to make sense out of any of it. I wanted to never forget you, but I wanted to never remember you. I thought that maybe it wouldn't kill me any longer, slowly and painfully, if I finally got to say my goodbye and thank you. But it did, worse than before. And it's not how it was supposed to be. I was supposed to have another month slowly detached. That was my plan, because I didn't want this to happen, and I wanted to give you a hug on my last day. Feel you holding me tight as we both let go in our own ways. I wish I could have spoken Italian, but I couldn't. I told you before I saw you last that when we said goodbye, I'd say all I wanted and needed to you in Italian before I left, because I was passionate and learning. It was a goal of mine for that next month I had there and with you, until it was ripped away from me in a blink of an eye. I can't explain that moment. I wasn't even thinking about anything but how last time I saw you, you promised it wouldn't be long before I saw you again, and now I'll never see you again. And I was frantic because I didn't know how to leave you cities away without looking into your eyes one last time, and without being with you and saying goodbye. You gave that desire to me, to learn to speak Italian. I don't know what sparked it so deeply in my soul, but Italian grew alive in my soul so quickly. But I couldn't say arrivederci. I just wanted to say buonanotte and go to sleep and see you again the next day like we always used to, and pretend that all of this was just a bad dream. But I couldn't even say that because it was no longer reality, and because tears were falling down my face and I was tripping over the memories of us thrown all around me. I hated Italian, and I hated you for not loving me and being able to say goodbye so easily. I felt like I had to pretend like I was okay so you knew how much you helped me and that what you gave me wasn't lost, even though I am. And so I didn't seem so weak for missing you so much and not knowing how not to. It was so hard to speak, I didn't know how to hang up the phone, and when I did, I sobbed uncontrollably. Memories flooded back of screaming at you because I knew you couldn't love me and because I loved you and had gotten so attached, trying to push you away but not wanting you to go. But you kept fighting for me, with me no matter what. My inner child was so alive with you. You read me a kid's book I got from the library before bed one night. As silly as it may sound, I slept more peacefully that night than I ever have in 22 years. And when we did our meditation at night together before bed, it gave me comfort. Whenever I saw your yellow car pulling in the driveway through my window, I could breathe and I came back to life. And now I can't breathe because the window isn't there to look out of and I'm holding my breath. But how long can someone survive without breathing? I miss you so deeply words can't begin to describe in English or Italian. I remember the passion in your voice those days, those months, and how I knew how much you believed in me. How I would sit on the bathroom floor, drops of tears pouring from my eyes, and you would sit beside me and literally fight with me and for me. I miss seeing you before I go to bed. I wish nobody ever had to say goodbye. I just need light to guide me out of this darkness so I don't have regrets from being so blind. Tears fall still, but I wipe them, escaping from my eyes, and tell myself it's time to let go and move on. It's okay to have loved. And I love you, but would persevere because I know that's all you ever wanted from me. You started giving me opportunities to fight for myself and to realize that I could do it alone and still be okay. But you were still there in case. Now I'm here, and maybe this was your last gift to me. Another opportunity. But after 17 minutes on the phone, I finally realized that closure doesn't exist. And that unmet expectations make the aches of grief even more profound. You will always be in my heart because ti amo. And whenever I'm sad, I just want to run to Italy. And I would have never chosen Italy if it wasn't for meeting you. But if I could go there, I wouldn't care about seeing any other parts of the world. And sometimes I really want to run to a place where there is no need to take a deep breath because you feel like you can't breathe, but naturally breathe in the crystal clear oxygen without a battle floating around you and entering you and taking away all of that stuff that drives you to want to run in the first place. I always think maybe it will replace not being able to hug you tight. It will replace what I never got from you and will never get. To find peace somewhere I can smile and forget the pain and the sunshine hides the darkness. The beauty of what surrounds you, beauty to encounter with your own eyes and heart, away from everything and everyone, with no more, even just for a moment. I feel like Italy is like rainbows without it raining, in an ocean that you can't see and end to, never having to experience goodbye, because there is no ending and the water just waves over the obstacles so easily. You can learn a lot from just watching the ocean, I think. Eyes sparkling in the sun, wandering and seeing all the architecture, the wisdom, the memories, the maturity and beauty. An excerpt from the movie Eat, Pray, Love, based on Elizabeth Gilbert's best-selling memoir of the same name, Ryan Murphy, who co-wrote and directed the film. The character Liz says, "A friend took me to the most amazing place the other day. It's called the Augusteum. Octavian Augustus built it to house his remains. When the barbarians came, they trashed it along with everything else. The great Augustus, Rome's first true emperor, great emperor. How could he have imagined that Rome, the whole world as far as he was concerned, would be in ruins? It's one of the quietest, loneliest places in Rome. The city has grown up and around it over the centuries. It feels like a precious wound, a heartbreak you won't let go of because it hurts too good. We all want things to stay the same, settle for living in misery because we're afraid of change, of things crumbling to ruins. Then I looked around to this place, at the chaos it has endured, the way it has been adapted, burned, pillaged, and found a way to build itself back up again. And I was reassured maybe my life hasn't been so chaotic. It's just the world that is. And the real trap is getting attached to any of it. Ruin is a gift. Ruin is the road to transformation." After I read that, I said I knew I needed to go to that place, to understand those words because they resonated with me so deeply, to understand the beauty in ruin. If I could run away and leave for Italy right now, I'd run to it for miles and miles, knowing that there was going to be ease and comfort the closer I get, the faster I run. But you see, at the same time, I'm not sure how beautiful Italian is to me anymore, or if it will ever feel the same, if I will ever be able to speak it and learn it fluently like I wanted to, because it brings me comfort and pain. I don't know what's worth it in the end. Some words will race in my mind forever because I've already learned them and because they are attached to you. It's just a part of those temporary moments in life. A part of what you can't get rid of. Those words that are written inside of you like a storybook. Those words that weren't always written by you. But in the end, however they got there, they're written in your soul, engraved for you to never forget. And that's you, engraved in my soul. Someone I will never forget. Okay? So here we go. Because I have to. Because whether I like it or not, it has already happened. So, arrivederci, beautiful Kay. And one day when I'm in Rome wandering and experiencing the ruin as the character in Eat, Pray, Love did, I will remember me and you, and that the ruins led me to a road of transformation. And then when I see the beauty, I'll remember you too. You taught me to love me first, to not worry about sitting alone at a restaurant and being in solitude by being with me. And when I eat in Italy, I want to be alone. I want to travel alone. And I'll probably cry because, like I said, closure doesn't exist. But maybe I can find some healing by this. In this for me. One day, I will find myself in Italy. And I'll always carry you with me and will always miss you in some way. I am no longer darkness, but darkness is still me. And I am trying to learn again how to speak Italian because I still want to feel the beauty. Thank you.